really hurt some people's feelings. So if you a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint off right now. Okay? How you afraid to drop a dime?
What's up, y'all? How's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Rebel. I'm here with the boss lady, Carissa.
What's up?
And we're just going to be talking about a nice little topic today of navigating through the holiday season. So it's always a hot topic of how to go through, October, November, December. You've got these burr months, they're cold, they're fun, they're full of snacks, parties, feasts, and family. So how do you navigate this time, enjoy it, and feel like you're still setting yourself up for success? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. This is going to be a really, really good topic. When this podcast drops, we'll be heading into, for real, the holiday season. Yeah. I think some people would even consider that we're already in it a little bit because Halloween is right around the corner. But the second Halloween is over, we know that this
Pedal to the metal.
And it hits like a freight train. So, So I'm excited to talk about this.
So when it comes to the holiday season, I feel like the first way to really ensure you can navigate it in a healthy headspace is to acknowledge the season you're going into, right? So if you're somebody that's already been really busy, you've been making it to the gym, 2 or 3 times a week, but you're really hoping to make it 3 to 4 times a week, 4 to 5 times a week, maybe the goal right now should be to continue making it 2 or 3 times a week, because if you're already going into a busier season, adding on is not necessarily the best tactic.
Yes. So I think intentionality and that acknowledgement is so unbelievably important. Truly, I think it's probably just one of the most important things. I think we as human beings get this idea. I grew up like this. I don't know if anybody else grew up like this, but the family would always be like, this year, we're going to do it different. This time, it's going to be more organized. This time, it's going to be different. And so I think people get in this mind space of this holiday season's going to be different. I'm going to be, all of a sudden, I'm going to be able to control the cravings. I'm going to be able to cut down on alcohol. I'm going to be able to
let the shopping get away from me. Yeah. It's not going to be so crazy.
Yeah. And I'm not going to get stressed out this year. I'm not going to let it happen. And I think, there's a lot to be said for setting some goals like that.
Yeah. And but preparing, right?
Yeah.
It's not wrong to have preparation.
Yeah. But just acknowledging the being realistic about what it actually is going to look like. And again, I think this is based on history. You need to take historical data on this and then be able to go in realistically and just say, okay, I know I'm going into this season based on where my life is right now and the season that I'm in. And that could be with anything. That could be with relationships. It could be with your job. It could be with your kids. It could be with your health. It could be any of those things. What do I know this season is probably going to bring with it? And it's going to bring stress. So 100%. It's okay to say that. It's going to bring a lot of food stress. It's going to bring a lot of shame and pressure and things like that. And so acknowledging that as the first step to this holiday season, I think is so unbelievably important. Just sit back and be realistic about what it's going to look like.
And these big companies and corporations, they know that this season brings that type of stress. So they're going to use it to their advantage. Right? That's where all this predatory marketing comes from, these different challenges No Pound November or, there's truck the treats or whatever, trash the treats, whatever it is, right?
2,000 of them,
all these different things. But what's wrong with enjoying the holiday season and then getting right back to it, right?
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Doing everything wrong or everything sweet needs to go in your mouth all holiday season, but personally, I'm going to enjoy some Halloween candy. I'm going to enjoy the dessert table at Thanksgiving. I like Christmas cookies, right? Is it going to be Christmas cookies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all December? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But there's no reason that I can't indulge in the season, remind myself of the good, fun, nostalgic times, and still, move forward and make progress.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the mindset, again, the number one way that we want you guys to navigate the holidays is going into it with the mindset, right? So I'm always big on telling my clients, you need to be the thermostat instead of the temperature. So as I go into the holidays and I've acknowledged what's going to potentially happen, I can recognize there's going to be some stressors over here. I already know I'm going to be super crazy busy with the kids stuff. I already know we're going to be dealing with some sickness in there. Somebody's going to get sick somewhere, and we can all in our heads be like, We're not going to get sick. This is not going to happen.
Yeah,
but like
drinking my emergency this year.
But it's like, let's be realistic. You're going to get sick. Somebody's going to get sick. And that's not me bringing the funk on. It's like me just being realistic about what's going to happen. So when those things do happen, it's not so much like me being reactive to it. It's like, well, we knew this was going to happen, so how can we move through it? And so setting those goals of being the thermostat. And so as the parties start stacking up and as you start, getting the holiday cookies brought in or, whatever the situation is, you're going to the grocery store, they've got all the, good stuff in the aisles during this time of year. Then just, again, like you've already thought of this. I'm aware. I knew this was going to happen. I'm going to eat a Christmas tree cake. I'm going to tell you all that right now. Those are my favorite things. I will not go through a season restricting something like that. And the other thing is, along with that is the more I go into a season with that restriction mindset, the worse it's going to be. So it's what you just said is really powerful, is just saying, hey, I'm going to allow myself to indulge in the holidays. I'm going to allow myself to exist in the holidays and really prioritize community and joy and happiness and fellowship and all of those things, which, yes, around this time of year tend to be centered around food. But that's okay if you're not going in. Why is it centered
around food? And that's because most times food comes along with fellowship, especially historically. Right? So
powerful.
Sitting down with your people, sharing a meal, breaking bread has always been something powerful and important. So there's a reason, especially in these seasons that are supposed to be community driven, that we're drawn to food.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think about my family, like my grandma. You don't think about this stuff until it's like later on, but it's like the last time I got to have my grandma's Christmas cookies. You know what I mean? And like how crazy that I probably the last couple times went up there and was like, no, I'm good. I need to like not eat the Christmas cookies. And then, the next Christmas she's not there anymore. And now I never get to have her Christmas cookies again. So it's just, again, prioritizing what's actually important this time of year. And again, we'll talk about like, why that's so hard. But this is all part of the initial, like the intentionality of going into this holiday season and just taking a deep breath and being like, what is really important to me during this time? And is it to make your entire personality about your diet and whatever the hell else you got going on? If you want to do that, please don't come to the Christmas parties. Please don't come to the Halloween, to the Thanksgiving parties, because I promise you, nobody else at these parties wants to hear about you being on keto and you being CrossFitting over the weekend.
Calorie-friendly sides.
Nobody wants.
That's fine. If you did that, that's cool. And meet your goals if you have a bodybuilding show or something.
Yes.
But I don't care that you have keto-friendly sweet potato crisps or whatever. I'm good.
How many carbs are in whatever? Like, we don't care. I just want to be very clear about that. We don't care. Okay, so go somewhere else with that stuff. So get back in the mindset of being able to enjoy the time, be intentional about it, and I promise you, just releasing like the muzzle off of yourself, because a lot of people again go into this season with the intentionality of like, I'm going to muzzle myself and I'm not going to eat anything. I'm not going to.
I'm saving up big for these meals.
Yeah, so then that creates more of, again, that restriction mindset that we talk about a lot in here, which just, it creates the shame factor. It creates the good versus bad. It creates all that psychological stress, which should not be related to food at all, and definitely not around the holidays.
Yeah, so I would say try your best to remove the guilt for yourself, and then especially for other people. So like if you're struggling with it yourself, that's something that you should be working on, but don't take that and try to impose it on other people, especially. Like if you see your niece, nephew, anybody, cousin, grandma going back for a second plate, there's no reason to make a statement, right? There's no reason to, okay, that's why you don't have a boyfriend here with you this Thanksgiving.
Oh my God,
there's just no.
I'll be at the end of the Thanksgiving table holding that knife, like, say that shit again.
Yeah, back to the dessert table.
Say that shit again.
Like, just hold it to yourself.
The way I'm sweating just from you just saying that, like
if you're gonna be in your head talking about, tapping your foot, I just wish I could have another piece of pie. I'm gonna have another piece of pie, or I'm gonna have the chocolate pie and the eclair cake and the cookies, and it's gonna be okay, because the next day I'm back to it, right? And that's what matters. So remove the guilt for yourself. And if you can't happen to do that, at least do not push that guilt onto anybody else.
Yeah. Amen.
Or you will get backhanded at the kitchen table if I'm there personally.
And if I'm there too, you might get worse than that. So, and I think that is a very stressful thing, unfortunately, for a lot of people. You know, Kat and I just recorded a podcast talking about healing, and one of the things she talked about was, you know, being around certain family members and just knowing when you see them, there's gonna be a comment, there's gonna be something that's said, and a lot of the times it's very passive aggressive. A lot of the times it's very like nice, nasty.
Yeah, like, oh well, that's a full plate you got there.
Yeah,
like,
and she, you know, she made a comment about when she sees certain family members, if they would comment, if they would say, "Oh, you look so great," she knew she had lost weight. And if they said nothing, and they literally would say nothing, then she knew, then that meant she had gained weight. And so it's like psychological warfare a lot of times going into these holiday seasons. And if you're dealing with that, like we see you and we want you to know that, you know, it's not easy, but going into those, again, being realistic about what people are going to say, not like potentially say, and just kind of already arming yourself with how you are going to respond to those things. And I think it's really powerful for, again, you know, Kat said in the podcast, she said the first time she ever said to somebody, "Hey, please don't comment on my body. Hey, please don't comment on my plate." Hey, and again, you know, I don't know. I think I would love to get some feedback from people on what are the really nice ways that you guys say this stuff and the kind ways, and then what are some of the most unhinged ways, because I think, and we're going into this season too, it's also politics on top of it, like Godspeed to all of us.
Well, one of my favorites is, you know, just the real passive aggressive, well, I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't eat that. Guess what, big dog? I would. That's why it's on my fucking plate. You funny as hell. I don't care if you would or not. I wouldn't wear that. It's on my body, isn't it?
God.
Obviously, I would.
Dead. Absolutely.
And that's a real simple one. People are always like, you know, they get real bug-eyed with that one. I wouldn't. Cool, I would, big dog.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just like, oh.
100%. And then again, and again, we talked about this in the last podcast when we were talking about healing. It's taking their ability to weaponize it away, right? Like it's disarming the weapon. And so that response automatically disarms it, and it sets a precedent for like, don't do that again. We're not going to do that. So one of those things where it's like, I'm sorry, I apparently gave you some type of idea that I cared. That was my bad. Day. So yeah, exactly. So I think that there's, again, kind of walk through that stuff too, what you feel comfortable saying, how you feel about responding to certain people in certain situations, I think is going to be very important. But I think it's important. It's empowering. It's, it's not abandoning yourself in these situations and feeling like you have to take that stuff from people. Like you can 100% speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself and let people know that's not cool. We're not doing that. And you can even set those boundaries beforehand, because I think a lot of the times we go in again with these like rose-colored glasses, like we all want the holidays to be so beautiful.
The Hallmark movie holidays.
Yes, we see these pictures and these videos and the commercials are all so perfect and all the things. So we go into it being like, very rose-colored glasses about it. But the reality is we have a lot of control a lot of the times over that stuff if we would just like kind of nip it in the bud beforehand. So it's like going ahead and having a conversation with those people before the holidays. Hey, these are the things that we're not going to bring up. We're not going to bring up politics this year. We're not going to bring up my relationship or lack thereof. We're not going to bring up what I'm wearing, what I'm not wearing. We're not going to bring up what's on my plate, what's not on my plate. And go ahead and set those boundaries off the bat. And then, you have a much better chance of having a great holiday. And if, people are going to be crappy about it, then that's on them. But
that's on them.
I think setting those boundaries beforehand, again, is another part of creating the thermostat. Like you have a lot better chance of being able to control that part of it and how you react to it if you've already set a boundary. Because then if I tell you, hey, don't comment on my plate this year at Thanksgiving, and then you comment on my plate, then I know how to proceed. Then it's like, okay, I gave you the boundary, you bust it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay away from you for the rest of Thanksgiving type situation. So, and that's, sometimes it's tough, but it's the healthy thing to do, especially when it comes to this food stuff. Yeah. It's really tough.
So just really make sure this holiday season you're focusing on family, fun, and fellowship, and make food the last thing that's on your mind. Be there to enjoy the food, But the food doesn't need to be the center of conversation, doesn't need to be the reason anyone's upset, the reason anyone's getting talked down to. Just gather and have a good time.
Yeah.
That's really what the holiday season is for. It doesn't have to be anything about food or calories.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's tough this time of year again because we're being inundated with all of the things. Like this is a time of year where we're talking about the Hallmark movies. Well, on the opposite side of that, there's nonstop marketing happening for burning off a meal, earning your meal, not overeating. The thing I think happens the most during the holidays is guilt-free. Every single thing is packaged as guilt-free this, guilt-free that, guilt-free snacks, guilt-free party, whatever. And again, that just goes back into that should be one of those red flag words that if you're aware of diet culture, if you're aware of disorder, and this goes for gyms, this goes for trainers, this goes for people in the health and fitness field in general too. But anytime there is something like that, like guilt or shame is marketed, that is diet culture screaming at you. Because there should be no guilt or shame associated with eating food, because that's what starts that cycle.
Guilt-free implies that the full calorie version right down the aisle is bad, makes you a bad person, makes you wrong.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where we get down, again, that really, really nasty black hole spiral of food having moral value. And then you're trying to fight that in your head instead of it just being like a food. Again, we talked on the last podcast and I was talking about my experience with Halloween candy in particular, and how it would be like, okay, Halloween candy is like this thing. It's like this forbidden treat that I should not have. I should not have. I should not have. So then I would obsess about it. And then I try to like hide it in the pantry, and then I try to move it, and then I try to just go back for one. And it was just constantly going back and going back and going back. The second I started going through this process of like healing and decentering skinny and food and shame and all these things, now I can look at Halloween candy and be like, do I even like that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to eat that. Like I was given the example of Snickers bars. Like, it's just like, I don't even like those. But because it was like this thing that I shouldn't have, it became this like mental gymnastics of always trying to stay away from it. And then the restriction, the lizard brain jumps in, and it becomes this whole thing of trying to fight that. And so the second you decenter it, you take the power away from it, it becomes, again, just a food. And then you can go into the parties and you can say, yeah, like this dessert looks really good to me and I want to try it. This one, not so much, so I don't want to try it. Or this one looked good and I tried it and it wasn't good, so I'm not going to finish eating it. And then I'm good. Like I don't need to go back 17 more times, because again, when we're doing that, we're thinking, I got to eat as much as I can and as fast as I can, because I shouldn't be doing this and I'm never going to do it again. So after this, it's like Last Supper mentality,
that Last
right?
Supper mentality, for sure.
And so it's like diet starts Monday, or even worse, a lot of people this time of year will get into like the holiday Last Supper.
Diet starts January 1st.
Yes. And so it's like, let's go ham this time of year and whatever, we get the fuckets.
Big time
because
fuckets.
we're coming up to January, and I'll undo everything that I did during the holiday in January when it's time to get back on the health and fitness wagon again. And so that's what we want you guys to really stay away from. It's a trap.
Right.
It's a trap. It's just enjoy the holidays. Enjoy. You're not going to gain 50 pounds over the holidays. It's not going to happen. Enjoy it. Let go of the restriction. Create some boundaries, keep getting movement. I know this is another thing that we talk about.
The big thing is just work on honoring your body.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you feel like you want a little more of something and it's your body telling you that you want more of something, it's not you reeling in your head like, oh, I could just go for another plate of this, or I shouldn't. But if your body is still hungry, give it some food, right? Yeah. If you go to the dessert table and you're full, but you haven't tried everything, maybe wait on it. See if you can give your body some time, go outside, throw the football, come back in 45 minutes and have something else, right? It doesn't have to be, I'm going to sit down, have 2 plates, then go get 2 or 3 plates of dessert. It can be, I'm going to have something from the appetizers and yams and this and that.
Yeah.
Go hang out and socialize. I'm going to come back for some turkey and stuffing. Go get some steps. Go socialize. Go hang out. Whatever. Come back for a dessert. Go hang out. Come back for a dessert, right? Do what makes you feel good, not what puts you into the Thanksgiving-induced coma like everyone is so used to doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to gorge.
Yeah.
You can, feast and take a break, or you can just pick and prod the way you want to. That's okay at these family meals.
Yeah.
But it's put forth as such a feast. It seems like if you're not getting the biggest, fullest plate possible, either you're being disrespectful or you just don't want to be there. And sometimes you might just want to do what makes you feel good and not overeat like everybody else.
Well, and think about how like something like Thanksgiving, for example, fits into the absolute just crazy twilight zone of diet culture that we live in.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, it's like it's
gluttony
presented,
is okay if
and
it's this.
And it's one day. So it's like, okay, so dieters unite for this day because it's like we finally have a day where it's like
it's
I
National
get to
Cheat
eat,
Day, y'all.
yes, like I get to eat all the things, and I'm dreaming of mashed potatoes because I haven't had a carb in 70 days or whatever the situation is, and so. But again, it's just crazy. It's crazy to think about how it is just the way this thing works in creates so much more insanity in us as human beings, instead of it just being again, like the focus of it is time with family and friends, time with, and again, if you love to cook, this is your Super Bowl too. Like you get to cook all the amazing food and you've got all the people and you've got the recipes. You get to show off all the things.
And you can also be a foodie or someone that loves food and loves flavors and loves to go around and taste everything and not have to have any guilt related around that, or not be somebody that constantly is overeating or fighting that battle with food, right? You can be a foodie and still have a good relationship with food.
Yeah.
You can want to try a little bit of everything, and that's just fine.
Absolutely.
Right? I think there's a lot of guilt that goes into that too. Like, should I not like food so much? Should I not want to go to all these restaurants? Shouldn't I just be okay sticking to my chicken and rice and Whole Foods? Like, there's nothing wrong with eating good, flavorful, elaborate meals, right?
Absolutely.
Being a foodie is a good thing.
Yes. And along that same vein, I think it's important to talk about like the overall biology of what our body is going through this time of year. I think that, you know, there's a lot to be said for how we were created. And, you know, during the winter time, it's very similar to like what animals are doing. Like
humans are animals, y'all.
Yeah. Like we're going into hibernation mode, right? Like the days get shorter, it gets colder, we slow down more, we tend to. And our bodies just naturally will want to adjust to that. Our circadian rhythms will change up. Our energy levels will change up a little bit. And so being
your body requires more energy to stay warm.
That part.
Right?
And,
so
and
you
to
eat
stay,
more naturally.
Yes. And to stay awake. And because again, the days are shorter.
You're
so
not
you're going to be
the energy from the sun as often.
And so all of those things go into it. And so the science of it, this is where like you can be kind of a science nerd about it, and it helps you be like, oh, like I get it. That's why I feel like I have more cravings during the winter time, or that's why I feel like I'm more tired. And again, when your body is tired, how does it request energy?
It asks for fuel.
Is through food.
Food is fuel.
Same thing with drinking. You know, we talk about this a lot. A lot of times during this time of year, people will struggle with overeating because they're drinking more. And alcohol is a poison, okay? And I'm not shaming that in any way, shape, or form, but that's what it is to your body. And so the more you drink, the more your body requires energy to try to heal what the alcohol is doing to your liver, to your kidneys, to your lymph system, all the things.
Inflammation slows down muscle recovery and muscle building, all these different things.
So then your body's going to require more energy to try to come back from all the drinking. Drinking increases, it messes with your sleep. So then if you're tired the next day, it's going to require even more energy. If you're hungover, it's going to require even more energy. It can increase depression, anxiety symptoms. Like these are things that again,
which then can lead to overeating themselves, right? So all these things can make you want to eat more. If you're overly tired, your body's going to ask for food all day to try to make up that energy gap or caffeine, right?
Your cells need it. Your metabolism needs it in order to heal.
Depressed, whatever it is, your body's going to turn for that quick hit of happy, that quick hit of dopamine wherever it can get it, right? So sweets, meals, your brain doesn't know the difference. It just knows that it feels like shit and it wants to feel better. So it's going to go for something that makes it feel better.
Exactly.
That's where it's important for you to have those mechanisms, those systems built in, some discipline, whatever it is that works for you. It can be motivation, it can be systems, it can be discipline, but you have to have something set up for success.
Yeah. And just be aware. Again, the science of it is like, if you're listening to this and that resonates and you're like, oh shit, like I do drink a lot more during the holidays and I do feel more sluggish and I do tend to overeat, every single weekend that there's a holiday party, then those are things, again, that you've got to be aware of. And then walking into the holiday season, there's got to be some sort of plan for you and yourself and your plans. Like, am I going to drink for every drink? Then I have water in between. For every drink, I have 2 glasses of water in between. Every other party that I go to, I'm going to be the DD and I'm not going to drink at all.
Or like setting up a support system for yourself, right?
Yes.
Like finding 2-3 friends that kind of want to go into the holiday season with the same mindset and have some accountability. Like, hey, y'all, let's really try. I know we were all talking about drinking a little bit less and trying to just stay, maintain what we're doing right now. Just not fall off the wagon this holiday season. So just having people with a similar mindset so you're not getting pulled in opposite directions, pulled into the, well, come on, it's Christmas, just eat whatever. And you're also not getting pulled into the, girl, you shouldn't eat, don't go to that party, bring your own food, right? Just find some good moderate individuals that have a healthy, realistic mindset and surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed but not be miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that those are really actionable things that you can just be thinking about, that you can be aware of. Again, if you feel like you want to try to get into making more of like the, like if you want to get into making different food for the holidays because you do want to, change up some things, the way that you're eating, have a little less dense food, a little less like of the sweets and the treats and stuff around, or less of the alcohol or whatever the situation is. That's totally fine. Like we're not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I think being realistic and like where you're coming from when you do it is really important.
Yeah, and don't expect everyone else around you to do it if that's just a choice that you're making.
Yes, absolutely. So making some adjustments to the holidays, I think, is very doable. I think at the end of the day, it's important to just acknowledge it's gonna be messy.
Yeah. It's
gonna be kind of a struggle. That's just the holidays, you guys. And again, that's just wintertime. Again, if you're like me, you got your seasonal festive is also kicking in and the bandwidth and every freaking holiday party and concert, and you're looking for the shoes and the tights and the, stuff for everything else and trying to do the homework and the projects that everybody waits the last minute to assign. It becomes a very stressful season, but you making the call on the things that you are going to just not allow yourself to be stressed out about this year or adjustments that you're going to make. Like that's one thing I had to do with alcohol last year and even the year before. But last year I did a lot more where I was just like, you know what? I can't drink like I used to. I just can't. And that's partially because of like low estrogen and the issues that causes. But my inflammation is out of control when I drink. So I have to be like the next day, I will pay for it. I don't feel great. I don't want to hardly do anything. I'm in my head a lot more. On a day that after I've been drinking. And so I just came to realize that I was like, okay, this will be a every once in a while thing, but it is not going to be often for me. And that's just the reality. Yeah. And so that has helped me. That helped me so much through the holidays last year, which were very stressful for me. And so that was something that I could go in the holidays and be like, okay, I'm taking drinking off the menu. That way I know I'm going to be able to navigate the things that I've got even better and then not have to stress about all the crap that comes along with that. That was one small change that made a huge difference for me through the holidays. So
yeah, because that's just one thing that you're taking away or limiting. You're not even going cold turkey, right? It's just making the choice because of what we talked about with wellness, right? Wellness is doing things that make you feel well. If you can drink alcohol and still meet a goal and still feel okay the next day, still get up, go to work, go to the gym, maybe you're in that time of life that you can do that, right? Or maybe you understand your limits and you're staying within your limits, and that's fine. But if you're somebody that does struggle or you feel it and you pay for it the next day, maybe it's worth giving a try. We normally encourage to just add more things, but there's nothing wrong with taking something away or reducing the amount of something if you know it's not good for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, again, very small changes like that will make a big difference during the holiday season. But again, I think the biggest thing that we want you to be thinking about is, number one, what is the purpose? What's the purpose of the holidays for you? Again, is it joy? Is it fellowship? Is it community? Is it lots of is it like the twinkling lights and all the laughter and all the snuggly moments and stuff like that? Like, what do the holidays mean for you? And then kind of taking those steps to figure out, how does food fit into that for you? How does alcohol fit into that for you? How does all of these other things? And then kind of taking it from there. Establish those boundaries if you need to with people so that you can enjoy the big holiday festivities more. Stay away from just have your ears on for the red flag stuff, again, the no pounds challenges and the guilt free and the freaking workouts that are always on Thanksgiving, and they'll be make sure you come to the gym on Thanksgiving and earn your Thanksgiving meal and crazy things like that. So just be aware of that stuff. Know that if you're not feeling that, or if you're feeling very shameful during the holidays, that's not normal when it comes to food and fitness and exercise. Those are things that should have a lot more passion and, again, joy behind. And if they don't, then we highly recommend you to, again, find a space, find a gym, find a fitness professional, find a professional that you can talk to about this stuff, because the holidays disorder goes deep. Diet culture goes deep and hard during this time of year. And as we ramp up for January, that'll be our next, one of our next podcasts, is talking about going into the new year equipped for a New Year's that is amazing. That's doing all the things that you want to do and setting goals and all the things, but not continuing to pile on with the disorder and the craziness that we're used to.
Ending the cycle of new year, new me, and feeling like you're the same person 6 months later.
Absolutely. So definitely watch for that one. I hope that this was helpful in giving you just some usable, tactical things going into the holidays. But we want you guys to just enjoy yourselves at the end of the day. It's just, you never know what's going to, coming from somebody who's, and Shamara's same way too, we've lost people in our lives and things change. You never know how a year is going to change.
It could be their last holiday season, your last holiday season, the last, Christmas you all get together at your great-grandmother's house, whatever it is,
you just
right?
never know. You never know.
A lot more on the memories than the macros, and you should have a really happy holiday season.
Amen.
There we go.
Clip that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. As always, go to our website, check us out, follow, download the podcast, give us all the feedback, and we will catch you next time.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
This is about to really hurt some people's feelings, so if you a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint off right now. Okay?